Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Shobhik Hallar and today I'm going to demonstrate or basically present on the topic how to unleash the power of code to make a meaningful impact on the world. I am an entrepreneur, you can say now. I'm building a product called Hornet, which is a blockchain based investigation platform. I have been a software engineer working in the field of cybersecurity. I'm currently working on decentralization. I'm an enthusiast in this field and fascinated by the world, the possibilities decentralization provides. So let's dive right into it. So, what is programming? Computational processes are abstract beings that inhabit computers. These processes are something that lives inside the computers only. They are not outside, they live inside only. As they evolve, process, manipulate other abstract things called data. So there's something called data. What is data? Data is any information. Any information stored in the computer is called a data in terms of computer science. So this processes actually over the time manipulates this data. And how do this process come into being? They come into being uh, by certain instructions that we humans give to the computer, known as programs. And who writes this program? We humans. So in effect, we conjure the spirits of the computer with our spells. So what are these spirits? These spirits are the processes that are doing all these things in the world. And who is conjuring them? Who is bringing them to life? As we, the humans, we, the software engineers. This is a very beautiful abstract from this book called SICP. I would definitely recommend reading it at some point of time. It shows the functional way of writing code, which is very beautiful. So why should you learn programming? So first of all, it inculcates the skill of problem solving. So you can actually solve problems. So that is the entire purpose of writing programs, that it should do some meaningful work. It should solve some issue. All right. So first thing is that it shows you how you can cultivate the skill of problem solving. You have a problem, now you have a structured way of solving it. Creativity. So you can basically create anything using the programs that you write. So it inculcates the sense of creativity inside you. So basically, you can create anything that you want. So if you look around, almost everything is powered by some form of digitization. And what is that? It is essentially some computer, some chip. Definitely, there are future opportunities. So if you learn this, this is a very high demand skill right now, and I would say not high demand. It is the highest paying job in the world right now. And it basically empowers. So let's say you don't go for a job, you don't want to earn money, you don't want creativity or anything. It basically empowers you that you can do many things with this skill that you have got. Some of the popular programming languages, Python, as usual, it is a very easy, highly abstracted, dynamically typed language. So what is dynamically typed? So there is no type system. The data that you create, manipulate in the programs in Python are all there's no type to it. You don't need to define any type. It's very easy to learn. Actually, it was created so that you can teach people how to write code. And because of the easiness, all the disciplines of the world scientific community are adopting this language. So you can find its heavy use uh, in different fields, from machine learning to cybersecurity to various domains. Then comes the C programming language. This is one of the first few low-level languages that people can easily write, and it's very powerful. You can tweak to the kernel level. Basically, everything can be tweaked using this language. It's a very powerful language. So if you want to learn the internals of computers, you should learn C. C++ and Java. So it's not just power, but you need to have certain ways in which you can write maintainable code, so that code is easy to be extended, it can be easily extended and modified. Because the programs that enterprises use, like banks and big companies, they need to do a lot of work. So there's lots of lines of code. So if there's no inbuilt way to manage the code base, it would get very difficult. So this object-oriented programming paradigm is very well used in C++ and Java. Golang is an example of a very modern, powerful language, which exploits the fact that computers are not getting faster anymore. So our CPUs are not getting faster anymore. What we are doing is basically creating multiple of CPUs in a CPU, basically the cores. So what you need to do is that now you need to write concurrent code so that the code can execute concurrently in multiple cores. So in effect, it seems like the 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 software is running faster. It gives an illusion of that, but actually it is distributed among multiple cores working concurrently. Another example, another class, another paradigm of writing code is functional programming, which is Closure, Haskell, Closure. All these are functional way of writing code. So this way of writing code in which functions are treated as first-class citizen. So basically, there is very less mutability. You don't manipulate the data; rather, you return the data with changes on top of it. But the original data remains immutable. As a result, there is a different class of problems is removed altogether. The conflicts and the locks, races, and all these kinds of issues are very well handled in the functional programming languages. So this is another paradigm. I would definitely recommend looking into it, but picking one. Then comes like how would you get started with programming? I would say the best would be to think of some toy project that you want to build using that language, and then just start with the getting started part of the website of that programming language. And whenever you face any issue, just ask the community. Like, you need to have very basic exposure to the language, very basic, just to write maybe hello world, and then a few lines here and there, and then rest you can always ask the community, read the documentation, and like that. So it is learning by doing, and learning by doing is the best form of learning, I would say. But you can also pick up books for that respect to just the part before getting started. And once you think that you are a little bit familiar, not very much, but little bit, like you are like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 1 month into the language, and now I would say go for any competitive programming where you can solve interesting problems, so that you can get a feel for the language and just get started. Again, you can ask the communities. The community is a very powerful thing these days. People learn together. Online coding platform like there's YouTube, NPTEL, Exorcism, where you can write code, learn from there, the videos and all. YouTube is a very great platform, definitely, for learning almost everything. And then hackathons, building product. So let's say you want to build project X, but you never end up completing it. So hackathons give you an time frame, like you have to complete in 3 days or 1 week or 1 day. So this limited time frame makes it very powerful feature. I would definitely recommend going for hackathons. Now, once you are into it, you can now write a little bit of code, build some things. I would say to get into a different league, you should learn the internals of program, like how does a program run, how does an operating system work, the basic data structures of writing the code, the algorithms, popular algorithms of how you can write efficient code. There are a few courses like algorithm specialization by Tim Garden, PDSAP by NPTEL, and things like that. You should definitely go for it in order to go a notch higher, because you're an engineer, right? You're not mechanic. You're an engineer, so you need to learn the internals and not just get the things done. There are very good books like Computer Systems: A Programmer's Perspective. This will give a very high level understanding of the entire computer system. Very much recommended. And then learn different languages, different technologies like web development, blockchain, or cybersecurity, where you can make use of different languages. Like for web development, you can use Go for writing server, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for writing the front end. Some databases like Postgres, MySQL for storing the data, some networking. This will make you a better programmer, a software engineer actually. Now let me show you simple Hello World programs. So this is the terminal. I would definitely recommend using a terminal for everything. This is Tmux for managing the sessions, so that you can split the screen horizontally, vertically, creating new tabs and things like that. So in Python, let me show you a simple way of writing hello py.py. So you just write one line, just print, then hello world. You wrote the program. Now if you want to run it, you just do this, and it is there. Python 3, it is an interpreted language, so you can execute things here as well. So if you want to do 2 plus 2, it will give you 4. You can execute it here as well, like print. So you can do it here. Now hello go and go. So this is the basic things like package. So main is the place from where the execution starts. So you have to declare that line first. Then you have to import a library called FMT. FMT is basically the library that allows you to print things to the screen. This is the main function. Main function is the function which executes first when program is loaded. And in that there is only one line, which is println. Now we can make it right hello world. I'm using Vim as an editor, which is very powerful, and I will definitely recommend checking it out. Using go run, you can execute this one. Hello world. So these are some of the examples. This is the terminal. I have scripted it in such a way that it will show you the price of Ethereum, price of Bitcoin, my RAM, CPU usage at any point. Tmux, terminal, and Vim. This is my favorite things, which is almost always open on my system. Now you can hack. So now that you can write the programs, that actually fiddles with the program that is running. So let's say you want to hack a web server. So web server is what? It is also a running process which is accepting network requests and serving responses. So this is also running process. It was written using some language like let's say PHP or Go or Rust or things like that. And when you're writing code, there are ways in which it might be like you're not following secure coding practices. So there are vulnerabilities there, or there might be vulnerabilities in the network or the software that you're using. So in that way, you can say that you can also write the code or perform certain operations which exploits the vulnerability, and then you can gain access to it. And when you gain access to it, you can make it do anything. So I would say command lines, few tools like Vim, ls, dir, and things like that, that would definitely help. So command line, the terminal is very essential, and Linux as an OS definitely. And the ability to write Bash. Bash is the program. It is an interpreted language, just like Python. So it would help you do simple automation, which is very important in hacking because there are lots of manipulations and access and things that you would be required to do. There are ways in which you can do passive information gathering, like Google, and there are many places, Google Docs, and many places where you can do passively collect information. Collection is like you're using Nmap for checking all the services that are running, all the vulnerabilities associated with the programs. There are multiple vulnerability scanning applications as well in which you can scan for vulnerabilities. There are multiple ways in which you can learn about web application hacks, like if there is any cross-site scripting possible at XSS. And things like that. And buffer overflow is a classic example of how you can manipulate the RAM to execute certain programs, because the executing programs are stored in a place, actually a layer beneath the RAM called caches or as registers. So you actually modify the registers so that you can make it execute a program which you want and which does things that you want it to do. So this is definitely a very powerful feature. Now, then there are ways in which you can find the exploits that are publicly available and make use of it. Like let's say if I want to do nmap scanning, I want to check basic services running using SV, all basic scripts I want to execute against it, to check my website server right now, which is hosted here. Um, you can just add the IP, that should be fine. HTTPS actually points us to port 443, which is what we don't want. So Nmap is a tool in which you can scan a target for all the services that are running in it. Okay, so I misspelled technology. Please don't do this. I am doing this so that I can show you how to use this tool Nmap, but please don't run this request on random places because it is blocking the ping request. So we need to avoid it using PM. Like I was saying, please don't do this on random websites or even my website because it is not legal. We can always know from where these requests are coming, and if they point to your IP, uh, police action can be taken against you. So please don't do this unless you have exclusive permission. And typically, the companies like PwC, KPMG, and hackers sitting there get permission to do that. Actually, they are paid to do that. This is called VAPT, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Until unless you have that permission, please don't do this. So this is the basics of hacking. We'll come back to here later. Till then, we can see if has got any response. Now, I would like to talk to you about something which will be required for the next phase of your life, and especially about the slides that are going to come up. The thing is living consciously. Like you need to know that what you're doing. It's not like your parent have told to do this, so you're doing this, or you want to do this, so you're doing this, but actually don't know what you're doing. So like mindlessly scrolling Instagram and things like that. So first point is that you have to live consciously. You need to know what you're doing. Very important. Acceptance of self. So every person has some flaws or the other. You have to know what are your flaws, and once you know that, you have to accept it because everyone has the flaws. You need to know this basic fact and then improve on other aspects of your life. This is how uh, you're happy in your life. You're actually happy, and then only you can. This is the founding part of any development that comes upon it. This is the base. If the base is not there, all this programming and things are just dreams that you will actually be never able to do. Third point is to live responsibility. You have to take responsibility for what is happening in your life. You cannot blame it on others. Take responsibility. If there is anything wrong, take responsibility to change it. Be assertive. Always be clear about what you want to do. Don't do the yeah, yeah, if it would have been this, that, and indirect ways of talking. Don't be that. Be assertive. What you want, just be upfront. Don't be rude. I don't mean that. Or don't be shy. Be assertive. Know what you want and then ask for it. Live purposefully. There should be a goal in your life. The goal can be anything, it depends on your choices. But I would say explore different avenues before committing to a goal. And don't feel like the goal has to be very fixed, it can always change. But if you have realized your goal, try to stick to it. Self integrity, have a standard for yourself. You should know there are principles that you would never break. So, this is the self integrity. So once you have this confidence, let me go to the next part. Now you can go for a job at some tech giant. There will be high social reputation, very handsome salary. You can enjoy life. But there's the low, very low risk and very low gain. All that you gain is money. Very low impact. You are actually making an impact, but I would say you as a person is not making that much of an impact. But again, take it with a grain of salt when I say things like that, because it will always vary from situation to situation, person to person. The learning curve also becomes very low because the work is distributed among so many people that you don't get the responsibility and hence the learning part of it. Job at startup, very high impact. Since less people are working on the single thing, there's a chance that you can make a very bigger impact. High sense of involvement because there are less number of people, you are involved in many things and as a result learn many things. But the salary I wouldn't say is as good, or in some cases it is actually good. I used to work at startups and the salary was really good. The learning is great. One of the best parts of working at a startup. You get to learn a lot, and especially in the earlier stages of your life when you're energetic, young, definitely go for learning. The risk is high, the gain is high, but you don't get to brag about things like you work here and there. So that's okay. Uh, Third is build your own product. This is the highest impact. Create a group and build something which makes an impact. You're totally involved, working for a greater cause. This cause can give you satisfaction in labor. Very huge thing. High risk, high gain, and the best part is that let's say you don't make it. With this experience, you can get job at any place that you want. Very high impact in terms of personal growth as well. So how do you go about building your own product? First of all, you have to find a problem, mostly a problem that you feel is something that needs to be solved. Okay, and it interests you. Look for like-minded people who aligns with your cause. So let's say you have found your problem that you want to solve. Now you can talk to people when you meet your friends, go at a party or things like that, and see who aligns with your cause. And then you can maybe find people who are actually interested, and then you can team up. Then you can think about the technology that would solve it the best. There's no one silver bullet, right? So maybe blockchain is good for this. Maybe it is not. Maybe EA is required. Maybe it is not. So go for simplest one because you can always extend. That is the best way, I think. Once it is selected, build a small POC. Build very small software that actually solves it, and that way you build a POC. POC means proof of concept. So the concept that you have actually proven it, and once it is there, you can use the POC to collect feedback from the people, like what is it, how do you feel about it, do you think it can make an impact, and things like that. Collect feedback, incorporate it. Once you think it is somewhat good, register for an LLP, a limited liability partnership. It would hardly take 10 to 15,000 to register, and our government is luckily supporting it a lot. Register an LLP, build actual company. Then apply for incubation. There are lots of incubation happening almost in every place. You will get information about it every now and then. Even I got an incubation opportunity once I had this idea of Hornet. About Hornet, I will be talking in some time. I got the opportunity to incubate at Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Innovation in Sector 5. We won that competition called Ideathon, and hence we got the incubation. Now we have registered the LLP as well, so we'll be going for Startup India, registered there. Government is trying to support you. You have got to seek the support. And again, if it succeeds, well and good. If it doesn't, you have the required experience to get your desired job. It's a win-win, right? Now, how to build a product? The software. Now, this part, there are lots of books written on this topic. So, I would just point out the points that I have personally pursued and not the theoretical things. So, first of all, I would say that have a whiteboard at home uh, or any book of that sort. Create a flowchart of the idea, like how these things are going to team up and how this is going to solve. Create a flowchart of the idea. Then jot down the components, try to separate it. Every component should do one thing well. This is the philosophy of Unix actually. So create the flowchart. Once it is there, find out the functional components of it, and then make a bigger picture of what the entire thing looks like. Now you have to write the code, so use Git to version it and host the code in GitHub, GitLab. Now, if it requires a server, you can create your own instances at AWS, GCP, DigitalOcean, and things like that. And most of them provide free free points as well, so you can get few months for free. Then you need to have a way in which you can talk to your people amongst yourself. So maybe Slack or things like that. But I would suggest you to go for some suite so that you have everything at hand, like a chat place or an email client, and things like that. So maybe you can go for Zoho Suite, Google Suite, and things like that. Zoho is Indian startup, so I would say that you should prefer that. And also, it has five free accounts, which is really good. And again, follow this process: build, collect feedback, iterate. So this is the product that we are building called Hornet. This is, like I was saying, it is indigenously developed dark web cryptocurrency intelligence platform. So what is dark web? It is the part of the internet that you cannot access, and you can only access using some special software like Tor. Because of this invisibility, this untraceability, anonymity it provides, many illegal things happen there as well, like selling of drugs, purchasing of hitman, and many illegal things. I can't even talk about it. Um and the payment for that is taken in forms of cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero, and they are also untraceable. So basically, the services are untraceable, the payment for it is untraceable. So a combination of both becomes very dangerous, and many criminal activities are happening. And our product is trying to prohibit that, stop that, deface that, and catch the culprits behind them. In 2022, $20.6 billion US dollars worth of um, payments were done in the dark web for different illicit activities, like you can say child abuse material, ransomware, stolen funds, sanctions, cross-border terrorism, scam, cyber criminal, and things like that. So you can see it's a very huge number, 20 billion US dollars. And these are the parts that a particular company called Chainalysis actually was able to capture. But I think the real numbers can be even higher than that. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Uh, I guess I was able to do justice about how you can get started with programming, showed you simple codes. Now you can know how to build the code, aka hacking, how to build a product, build a company, showed you my company that we're building. Now I can assure you that if you follow this path as a student of computer science, you're definitely going to go a very long way. But don't worry if these things don't interest you and you have interest in some other domain. Feel free to drop this course and do whatever you feel is good. Okay. So thank you so much. All my online presence can be found on the website called www.savikhalda.in. Don't forget the HTTP part because it is not secure. It is not HTTPS. My LinkedIn link I have just given for the sake of convenience, but everything is available at my website. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to young people about the things that are going on in my mind, but definitely take it with a grain of salt. I'm also learning. I just wish to share my experience till now with you all. Thank you so much.